What up, Simps? It's Aiden coming back at you with another spicy brew. Hey, what are you doing? Stop! No! I'm not supposed to be inflated! Ah! Jolly Balloon Man is the latest Kiki Jiki style copy your creature legendaries that have recently been spoiled in the upcoming Dustmourn set. But I think this commander is better than all of the other Kiki Jiki style commanders out there. Sure, it's not going to go infinite as easily as Kiki Jiki, but for one, this guy is Boros, giving you access to all of the good white enter the battlefield and damage triggers as well as it's just cheaper than them all. It's only 3 mana and has haste. The going rate for this effect, for the most part, has been 4 mana, and you have to wait an entire turn before you untap with them to get their effect. So the Jolly Balloon Man is both cheaper and gives you access to an entire second color. Also, the tokens it makes may be small, but they fly, so it's even better for triggering those on damage or on attack triggers. Another thing white gives us access to is token doublers. And let me tell you, token doublers go absolutely crazy with these kind of effects. When you can get token doublers in play and you're creating copies of creatures that make tokens on ETB, you're essentially quadrupling up on that effect because you'll make two copies from your Balloon Man, and then those copies are each going to make double of the tokens they would normally produce. This can let us go pretty crazy with things like treasure makers and other token makers on attack or damage or anything like that. Also, it just is ridiculous with Ocelot Pride. I feel like I'm saying this every week at this point, but Ocelot Pride is just a messed up card. I don't know what Wizards was thinking when they printed that, but if you can Jolly Balloon Man and Ocelot Pride, it's going to, one, give it flying so you can easily attack with it and get that life gain to make sure you get the end step trigger, and then on the end step, both of those Ocelot Prides are going to make 2 more copies of that token Ocelot Pride, so then you're going to be left with 3 of them after you sack the copy you made. But it's just going to get more and more ridiculous from there. And they're each going to make tons of cats, and the doubling is just going to get out of control. It's going to go exponential from this point on, and it's not going to be okay. Also, white has a lot of ways to untap our creatures, which with a commander with an awesome tap ability that generates us a lot of value, what more could you ask for, right? We get token doublers, we get untappers. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into the cards that I'm throwing into this list that really make it super explosive and super powerful. Starting off, let's go over the ways to make more tokens. We have Ocelot Pride, of course, which is probably just the best card in the entire deck. We also have Determined Iteration, which is going to give us an additional copy of whatever we make a copy of with our commander. Fable of the Mirror Breaker makes a token that we can copy that makes treasures, also gives us a little bit of looting, and then flips over into basically a backup copy of our commander. We have Agris Kos, Eternal Soldier. This guy is really cool. He's really underrated. He basically will allow us to pay 3 mana, and our commander's ability will now make a token copy of literally every single creature on our board, which is nuts, even giving us another Agris Kos, which you might be thinking, hey, but he's legendary. That's not going to help us much. That's where the next card comes in. Cadric Soul Kindler turns off the legend rule for all of our tokens. And unlike most Kiki Jiki effects, our commander does allow us to actually copy legendaries. So with Cadric, we can now start copying our legends. We can copy Cadric, giving us more of that ability. Cadric also himself lets us copy legends when we play them, so the copying can just get out of control. We have Anointed Procession and Mondrak, of course, and with Cadric and Mondrak, we can start copying the Mondrak, which is going to double and double, more exponential growth. We have Eartha Joe, which just doubles up on our commander's activated ability, which is really powerful. You can make 2 copies of the same thing or pick 2 different ones. There's also, of course, Nesting Dovehawk, which is just a ridiculous card when you can make token copies of it, because that populate trigger can copy itself, and again, you just go exponential. There are tons of ways in this deck to just get exponentially more and more tokens every turn, or if you have an untapper, it can be in the same turn or at least in the same turn cycle. It gets out of control fast. Now, going over our untappers, I didn't include cards like Thornbite Staff and Umbral Mantle. They just go infinite a little too easily with our commander, but if that's something you're into, definitely throw them in there. I just prefer not to play a ton of combos in my casual lists.
I included Thousand Year Elixir, which allows us to untap our commander once a turn. Two Arms, which is just a nice instant speed cantrip that also will untap all of our creatures.
We have Halo Fountain. This one's really awesome. It can give us card draw, it can give us token chump blockers. It can even win us the game if we have enough tapped creatures, although, that's not going to happen too often, but it's possible. And just, again, being able to untap our commander is super powerful. We have Patriarch Seal, a good mono rock, also lets us reuse our commander's ability. White.
I have Village Bellringer and Zealous Conscripts, which can go infinite with our commander with an Ashnod's Altar. Zealous Conscripts is also just great combined with any of our sack outlets because it can be used as removal and we can repeatedly copy him to steal something else and then sack it.
Flicker effects. We have Felia, Exuberant Shepherd. We have Sword of Hearth and Home, which also is a great piece of ramp. We have the Eternal Wanderer, which can be Flicker, is also a really nice board wipe for us, can just wipe away everything, leaving our best stuff behind, and we get to pick the worst things from everyone else. So just a really versatile piece in this deck. For our win conditions, we have Sundial of the Infinite, which can just let us keep our tokens around, keep our Cadric tokens around, keep our commander balloons around. Just, you wait till the end step, you wait for that sacrifice trigger to go on the stack, and then end the turn preemptively. Really powerful to just build up your tokens over time. And you get to pick the stat order in which you stack your sack triggers, and each token you make will have a separate sack trigger. So let's say you have a Solemn that you actually do want to sacrifice, and you can wait until after that one resolves and then end the turn and keep all your other tokens if you've made multiple in one turn. We have Ballon, which is crazy with this commander. Like, it's going to make a 1/1 copy that will both deal damage because it has flying, and then you'll sack it, so you'll get 2 triggers off of this. And that's assuming you've only made 1 Ballon. With token doublers, it gets even more crazy. And it can just dish out tons of damage. I have died to this card from my friend who plays it, and it just puts in tons of work. If someone has a full grip, you're just going to be dealing them like 12 plus damage. It's absolutely ridiculous. I included Port.
Molten Primordial is a crazy win con in this. We can steal the 3 best creatures from our opponent and then copy him and steal the 3 best again, and we can copy him each turn. And then again, with any token doublers, it just gets even more crazy. And with our sack outlets, that can also be one-sided board wipes every turn, which is just very oppressive.
And finally, our last win con is kind of mean, but it's also really cool. I have Yosei the Morning Star. So since this is a legend, when we copy it with our commander, we'll sack that balloon right away. And that's going to allow us to tap down 5 permanents and skip the untap step from one of our opponents. And so if we can get an untapper and we have enough mana, we can just lock everyone else out of the game. So in terms of ramp, I really focused on treasures because we're already doing the token doubling thing and we have a big emphasis on making tokens. So we have a lot of treasure/gold generators. We have Curse of Opulence, comes down early. Our balloons can trigger it really easily. We have Soul Ring, of course. Charming Scoundrel. This one comes in, it can either loot us if we need to like cycle through our deck, or it can make treasure for a 2-drop, which is great. Dowsing Dagger, our balloons can very easily flip this over into the Lost Veil. It's just really efficient ramp when you're making evasive flyers, which we are. We have Liquid Metal Torque, which is just a great mono rock, combines with a lot of our interaction in order to be able to blow up any kind of permanent we want. We have Sand Scout. This can get us these deserts, which is very nice. And since it can get a bounce land, it can combine well with other catch-up ramp stuff that we have, like Claim Jumper. So this will just let us keep up with the green player at the table. There's always a green player at the table. And so you'll just be staying right there with lands, but then we're also going to be going over the top of them because we're generating treasure at the same time. We have Wily Goblin, another 2-cost treasure enabler. We have Ashnod's Altar, just allows us to sack those balloons for additional mana to ramp out our bigger things that we want to copy. We have Cursed Mirror, just, you guys know I love this card. This card's amazing. It can just copy whatever our best ETB is, and it's a mono rock. We have Patron of the Arts. This one's probably the best treasure maker in the deck because it makes one when it enters and dies, and we sacrifice those balloons. So it's basically makes our commander have an ability, pay 1, tap, make 2 treasures. But if we have token doublers, like an Anointed Procession in play, then it's pay 1, tap, you make 2 copies of Patron of the Arts. They each make 2 treasures, so that's 4 treasures. Then you sack those 2 balloons, and you get another 4 treasures. So it's pay 1, tap your commander, make 8 treasures, which is just absolutely ridiculous. We have Plundering Barbarian, another treasure maker, also can blow up artifacts, combines well with that Liquid Metal Torque. We have Professional Facebreaker, getting multiple copies of this guy, especially flying ones that with Menace that can easily get in and make treasures is going to go crazy because they're all going to trigger once for each person we hit. So if you have 2 of them and you can hit each person once, then you're going to make 6 treasures, and 3 of them you're going to make 9 treasures. It gets crazy. We have Prosperous Partnership. This one is really strong in this deck. We're making lots of tokens, so it's very easy to tap them all. So we can just go really out of control making treasures with this Prosperous Partnership. We have Atsushi. Again, Legend rules itself, so just our commander can tap, make a copy of it, sack it, make 3 treasures right away. Again, goes even more crazy with token doublers. We have Solemn Simulacrum. We get to trigger both the ramp and the card draw when we make a balloon of this. It's awesome. Goldspan Dragon doubles all the mana we get from our treasures, which is just crazy, and making token copies of it so we get 2 treasures when we attack with them is very nice. Now going over our card advantage to make sure that we can keep that gas flowing. We have Skull Clamp, of course. All the balloons we make are 1/1s, so this is just going to let us pay 1 and kill that balloon a little early to draw 2 cards. That's awesome. We have Spirited Companion and Wall of Omens, super powerful. Just being able to make a copy of these every turn keeps our cards flowing, and with token doublers, it goes up in value. We have Jessica's Will, this busted card, don't need to explain it. Welcoming Vampire, super good when we're making 1/1 tokens, especially when we can do it on each player's turn with our Untappers. So if we get one of our Untappers going, we can start drawing 4 cards a turn cycle with this guy, and if we can make a copy of the Welcoming Vampire, it can get even more ridiculous. We have Battle Angels of Tyr, making a 1/1 balloon of this that then has Myriad, so we're going to get like multiple copies going at each person, and so we're going to get all of the triggers from this. It just does a lot. We got Beza, the Bounding Spring. This one is just, again, really versatile. If you're behind on any resource, you're just going to get it back, and anytime we go down on a resource, we can get it back. I do play some catch-up ramp, so I made sure to include like Bounce Lands, Urza Saga, Lotus Field, things that like put us down on lands to make sure that we're getting value from these kind of catch-up things. And we have Trumpeting Carnosaur, which is just awesome. Trumpeting Carnosaur also can be discarded and then reanimated later with like a Karmic Guide or something like that. So it's just really versatile in the deck. It's a little bit of removal, and it's just a great piece of value. Speaking of removal, we got swords, Goblin Bombardment. Again, we're making tons of tokens, so this is just going to let us turn those tokens into removal or just direct damage. We got Tybalt's Trickery to both protect what we got going on. We got Aven Interrupter as a counterspell. Chaos Warp, Lauren of the Third Path, again combines really well with that Liquid Metal Torque. We got Skyclave Apparition and Witch Enchanter, which is an MDFC, which is always great, and again combines really well with that Liquid Metal Torque. Also, we have a bit of recursion, like I already mentioned, Karmic Guide. We also have Pinnacle Monk. We don't have a lot of instants and sorceries in this deck, but the ones we do have are really impactful, and being able to rebuy them every turn is really strong. Like imagine Jessica's Willing every turn, or always having Tybalt's Trickery available to us. We got Sun Titan, of course. This is great with the balloons because we get the ETB and the attack trigger, so we'll get to return a bunch of stuff including like fetch lands like Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista. And then we have a bit of board protection as well, clever concealment. It's just the best, guys. Like, especially when you're making tokens, you just always have bodies untapped for this. And remember, Convoke, you can pay for the color costs if you're tapping creatures that share a color. And then I included Lae'zel's Acrobatics, which is just awesome. It lets us dodge board wipes and rebuy all of our ETB value, which is a lot. And finally, I have a couple tutors. We got Goblin Engineer and Stoneforge Mystic, which just let us find a lot of our key pieces, like sort of Hearth and Home, which is ramp early game and lets us flicker things for value, as well as
Powerful draw engines like Skull Clamp.
and then Goblin Mirror and Goblin Engineer and Curse Mirror. It just mwah. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the Jolly Balloon Man. This I saw this human clown and I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Not to mention it's completely busted. Like this is definitely the best Kiki Jiki style commander we've ever seen. It's cheaper than all the others. It already has haste built in. It makes flying copies. Sure, they're small, but like who cares? We're generating so much value and it's in white, so we get to play Untappers and flicker effects and token doublers. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a comment down below, and remember to like and subscribe to my OnlyLands for the spiciest deck content on the internet. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you next time. Peace.